And I was most fascinated, guys, by the post-match comments. Listening to Coach Ronnie Gabriel saying Pirates time-wasting, goalkeeper, getting a yellow card for wasting time. That was the kind of pressure we had them under in the dying minutes there.
Maybe in the dying minutes, but for a good 60 minutes, they didn't have a shot at goal. That is Richards Bay. And you must know that a big team that knows how to play finals, cup games, they've got big match temperament, they've got cup game temperament. They know how to manage the game, and they realize that it's getting too scruffy now, where there's injuries that are coming, there's so much aggression and all of that. So you take gas off the pedal a bit and be able to say, let's just keep possession in areas where they are not going to have the ball. Because if you don't have the ball, you can't score. You can't really put pressure on a team. So Pirates were smart about it to say, let's just slow it down and frustrate Richards Bay as hard as we can.
Bongs, another final, second final for Pirates this season?
It's incredible, eh? Sure, you guys definitely love cup competitions. I mean, I think the resilience that Pirates have shown, of late, the past few years, the confidence that they have within these competitions is commendable. And just even today, looking at the application, the mere fact that there were so many changes, 2 changes in the whole back line in terms of Libito and Horto coming in, because obviously wing-backs, you expect it to go forward, you expect it to come back, the load on the players, the midweek fixture, just the recognition of understanding the players and the trust to understand that even in a tense situation, you can bring players on that can carry the game through. It's an incredible position that the club is in.
Other hands that were up potentially, with the champion fans choosing Mbogazi as the man of the match today, other hands that potentially had their hands up that were impressive today?
Apollos is a big one for me. He really takes man of the match for me. 5 shots at goal, 3 out of 5 dribbles that were successful. And if you look at the touches in the box, 5. He was very important for them as adding into midfield to make it 4. And when he needed to go wide, he was doing that. Made it easy for Van Rooyen to play. We didn't even see that Van Rooyen is not as sharp when it comes to playing. He was tracking back. I mean, playing that pass. It's almost
but
like
I was already a man of the match, right? I think he was the man of the match against Sweleni. So
we are Batalisa.
Maybe.
Okay, my fans were Pirates now. And it shows you they've been watching from day one. It doesn't matter. It has gone to, the winning team is involved in the goal. And Mbogazi, also coach, brought him in today to say, let's stabilize, because there's 2 strikers that are on form, Umhango no Mutizo. And Uvele Baba Tulisa Watitu Namhlanje. And that's how difficult it was.
I'm trying to see that imagery. Love it, Shorty, love it. Let's move on and take a look at how the goal came, how it was that Moremi found the back of the net. We're seeing a lot of this happening with Moremi on that left-hand side, finding goals. Take me through this, Bongs. We discussed it at length.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously the directive from Richards Bay was to press, and with the turnover, there's a bit of a press. Ball gets, passed to Apollos, back towards the attacking goal. You can put pressure on him, but then they decide to back off. Now, the problem is, if you look at that last line, if you take your eyes to the screen now in terms of the halfway line, that line, there's so much disorganization in terms of the back 4, in terms of what they have to do. And whenever there's a recognition, if you're a team that presses and a player turns, you have to be head down on your bike, ready to expect it over your head. Now, the right centre-back in this situation is supposed to be assisting in terms of coming across. The body language is wrong. He has his back towards the ball, whereas he should have, obviously, you open your body towards the channel in which the ball is going to be played. Your left back has been caught, your right back has been caught out of position, and Moremi has got the absolute run on that whole back 4. And once this happens, you got no chance. Moremi is a player of speed, so as soon as the press is not on, you need to understand that you're running the other way. It's only one way the ball can come. And unfortunately, Richards Bay, they just did not see the cues of which they set.
And here is an example of maybe the versatility of Wadu's side. Pirates are a side that are known to play pretty intricate football. Yeah, just boom. Just over everybody in one-touch net.
When you play according to positions and you know that your opposition this is a winger that has the ball. So in your mind, you're thinking, it means we are good in terms of numbers. But you forget your principles of defending. When you've left space behind, you know that there's going to be space that's going to be exploited by a Pirates team that has been playing with fullbacks and wingers that are bombing forward. So if you drop and center, it helps you. But it happens so quick that Richards Bay, they are uncoordinated in terms of their defending. They started well by not allowing Pirates time and space behind the defense line. And then they came, they are pressing in wrong areas. You asked and said, but they could have pressed the Baluini ball. If you're a team that doesn't have a strategy, SC team, let's push them inside so that you can win the ball in the middle. That's a midfield press. If you're not a team that does that, you're always going to be beaten in that midfield because it's not your strategy, it's not your tactical way of playing.
Now, Bongs, looking at Moremi there, I mean, that goal, it looks like we've seen it already this season. He's got 7 goals so far this season, and we're seeing a lot of that.
It's fantastic. I think that has to be down to the coaching. I think, you know, understanding Coach Wadu and where he's played and the lessons that you get at that level, 100% a directive. You always taught to go across the goalkeeper. 9 times out of 10, left-footed players are really, really gifted in terms of that technique. And he does tremendously well in terms of finding that corner. And he's found it once before with a much more difficult chance. And obviously that one now, you have the confidence, you understand where the net is. And again, you know, this is a chance now where obviously there was a question mark in terms of was there contact, is it a penalty? Where now Richards Bay have tried to go over the top of Pirates.
Well, we can come back and have a look at this in a little bit more detail because Mutizwa does go down. Is it in the box? Does Chain get any piece of him? Lots of questions asked here. Let's see, first of all, if there's a piece. Now, there is contact, right? So the question now becomes, where did it happen? I think we'll play that one more time and we can maybe try and slow it down just so we can see where that contact happens and whether there was a case for Richards Bay to feel like, Mr. Ref, you could have pointed to the spot here. Again, similar situation, Shorty, long ball causing problems.
I think it comes to a point where they know that Mutizwa is now the reference point. If we send it forward with a Mahala coming in there, at this moment, you can see the goalkeeper is going, he's stretching his hands, going for it, and Mutizwa is also challenging for the ball with his head. Most of the time, the goalkeeper will get the preference from the referee because he's going with his hands onto the ball. Even if the goalkeeper could touch the ball with a finger, half the time it will be said that it's for the goalkeeper. You impeded on the goalkeeper by heading his hands. And in other cases, just unfortunate, you don't have an angle that is showing in front to go to who gets to the ball first. But preference will go to the goalkeeper, but you've impeded the goalkeeper. Umpazamisile, in a sense that he touches the ball first and then Mutizwa comes in. So he doesn't push him to say, let's get a penalty or something like that. But you see, he's even pulling his hands towards him. So it's a close call.
I feel like Knox is there with the head.
But you don't see the hands. You just see the thumb.
Hey.
It's a tough one.
The problem with that is, first of all, who gets there first? Sipho Chain is not in control of that situation. And Knox gets there first, and there's contact. That's a foul.
Well, is it, though? Because extra time on Monday, Daniel Bennett will be in studio to give you in-depth analysis of that one in the referee's law book perspective. But one of the things he does say on the show is that football is a contact sport. And that contact is allowed. You know, we do touch each other in a football field. You do have football contact, touching, bumping.
However,
so it's not always a foul.
I agree it's not always a foul if there's a coming together, if it's a 50-50. It's a coming together, we both sort of in contact within the ball. But that's a race to see who gets to the ball first. Who gets there first?
And maybe there shouldn't even be a question here, penalty. It should be play on because maybe gay.
And to be fair, Shorty's right in terms of goalkeepers are protected. Obviously, they're a protected species. Once their hands go onto the ball and there's contact, you're in trouble. But first of all, Sipho Chain is not in control. He's reaching for the ball. Now, the striker runs across and gets there first, and then there's contact. I say it's a foul.
Wow, Bongs is very clear on that. Hashtag #IsDiski is where you can add your voice to the conversation as far as that moment was concerned. At the end of the day, though, not given. Monday on Extra Time, we'll give you more insight on it. This match had so much in it. And here are the numbers that reveal 8 shots on target, 58% possession, 5 corners to 1, 12 attempts at goal to 4, and Richards Bay only having the 1 on target.
Richards Bay didn't play to their strength today. Whenever you get the ball, send it as quickly as you can forward because you've got 3 players that can run and have a goal in them, Mahango, Mutizwa, and also Tigazi. And Tigazi today was playing as a right winger, as a left-footed player. So that shows you also they were not looking to get behind the defense of Pirates because one corner as a team that was sitting so deep and trying to win, because there were instances where they were winning possession, but they wanted to keep it instead of let's find a way out. Who are the key players in transition from defense to attack? So it didn't really work out for them. Also, maybe on Pirates' side, they were on them. They didn't give them a chance to breathe and even look up.
Are those disappointing stats for a semi-final? You know, if you're Richards Bay and you're thinking, we're in a semi, you know, we've never been to a final. And when you're 80 years old one day and you look back and you go, man, we only had 1 shot on target. Were you even in the game?
My opinion is there was a great fight from Richards Bay, a proper fight. I saw them play some beautiful stuff, confident on the ball. They rode the wave of pressure, which is fantastic to see. In the last minutes, of course, they're going to throw everything at it and try and get the victory. But my opinion is that when you have quality versus a discrepancy of the quality, generally, effort will push you up and you'll be better than the quality. But when quality does this, you end up struggling. And that speaks to the stats. Pirates have the quality. They managed the game fantastically well. They did not look stressed in terms of their defenders. They did not look overwhelmed at any point. They managed the game. The stats are that low purely because you are up against quality, and quality on the day was very switched on and absolutely covered the same amount of work rate that you would have had.
Layer quality ayithanda mina.
Ngiyayivuma quality. That's why they always say, you know, effort, discipline will always surpass talent. But mawuhlanganisa talent ne effort ne discipline, you are miles behind. And that's what Pirates was doing today. They didn't do many mistakes. They didn't lose possession in areas where they would be punished. They were well aware, there's 2 strikers that are goal poachers. They were aware, Richards Bay is a team that is aggressive when they need to in a counter-attack. And also, you'll see in their own half, in their opposition half, they were playing 1-touch, 2-touch. And when really came on, they were dribbling going forward. They were not giving Richards Bay cut. Babe aggressive on them. No, they were aware it's fast. This is a great score for a team like Pirates.
And it did need a defensive performance as well for Orlando Pirates, because Richards Bay coming into this one had scored a goal in each of the 9 games they'd played prior to this encounter. Clean sheet for Orlando Pirates, a place in the Carling knockout final, and a chance now to hear from the team that went down in the match. Bay, who are now vanquished for the 3rd time in a row when it comes to the Carling knockout in the semi-final.